Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, traders. This is John Howe speaking. I hope we are all doing well. Today we're just going to do a bit of a weekly wrap on what the overall markets are doing. We're going to look at such as the markets such as the Dow, the Nasdaq, and also the S&P. I'm going to show you a bit of technical analysis, hints and tips of how to draw trend lines, how to look at the market, and how to view the market, and also a bit of hints and tips on how to use Fibonacci. So let's actually get into it. Now, right now we're actually looking at a Dow chart. Now this is the Dow chart. Right now this is at the end of March 08 as I do this video. And we can see right here is down to December. So we've got about 3 to 4 months and a bit more on there. So if I just once I'm looking at this chart, the first thing I see is I like to do, okay, here's the chart. You can see the market's come down and now we've just gone sideways. So what I like to do is first find the significant areas such as support and resistance. So I do my trend line and I like to just drag my trend line up and down before the market. And I just like to say, okay, right now we can see there's a pretty significant area of support there. Now how I find that is simply this. If you can see that we have a bounce off here, notice how the market came down, consolidated through that a bit, and then the big drop came back up to it, resistance, came down, came back up to it again, resistance. So right now, if the Dow would actually get up around about the 12,800 mark, you know that there's going to be a lot of resistance around there. And if it does break above this, then you know this is likely to become a pretty significant area of support. So that'll be the first trend line that I look for. So if I just draw another trend line, just move my trend line up and down, I can see that on the chart right now we have another area of significant support and resistance. And how do I say that? If I just do the arrows again, you see that there was a bounce here. There's also another bounce here off this trend line, another bounce here, a little bit of a bounce here. We can see the market came down, came back up, and now it's a bit of resistance. Sorry, a bit of resistance. It broke down, but look at this big update. This big update came straight up. Bit of sideways action. Now it broke up, and now it came down, and we might get a bit of support around here. I'm not sure, but we've had a pretty significant support and resistance on there. So this chart's saying that it probably will get a bit of support off there. And what I also can see is another trend line coming down here. We had a bit of support down here. It broke down here a little bit, but ultimately came back up and supported here. You can see a bounce. So this is like a double bottom, should you say, on a daily chart on the Dow. Okay, so if I just had a look at that and say, okay, now the market's basically in sideways. If the market breaks this support level around here, around this level, then we know that if the market does break this level through here, you can see right now it closed at 12 to 16. If it does break there, the likelihood of this coming down to 11, 18, and maybe a bit lower is pretty high. So just watch out for that. If we just have a look at maybe some resistance and some support lines, if I just squeeze my chart up, if I just do a little resistance and support line through there, you can see right now that if I just drew that out a little bit more, there we go. We can see what happened here. Okay, we started here, bit of resistance, okay, came back up and bit of resistance again. So right now I'm looking at this, you also see right through here, this big update through here. Let me just open up. See this big update, came there, actually stopped on this trend line, and the sellers brought it back down, and then ultimately they picked it back up again. So that's where we are right now. We're at a pretty resistance, support, and we're at this support line. So the Dow's probably going to maybe find a bit of significant support there, and maybe get a bit of update next week. An update maybe in the next couple of days. So you just watch out for that. So this is the Dow chart. Let's go have a look at the Nasdaq. This is the Nasdaq chart, and just quickly we can see that we have a pretty significant area of, say, support around there. Once again, we can see a bit of sideways action through here, resistance, and I also could say that we have a pretty significant area of support around there as well. Okay, yes, we've got to exclude a couple of days here, but ultimately you can see the market just going sideways on the Nasdaq market. So if we actually had a look at the market, and I'm going to do such thing as a Fibonacci level here. Okay, Fibonacci is just like a Gann theory, and if I just did the lowest of this move, which was down here, and just went up to there, we could see that right now we're at say about a 50% level. But notice this thing here, or if it comes down to the 50% level, probably get a bit of support, come down to 62, around this area here between the 1737.50 and 1757, you're probably going to find a bit of support there on the Nasdaq. Notice if I just draw a line on this 50% mark, notice how the market has also been a support and resistance to that as well. We've had a support here, support, support, resistance, resistance, resistance. Now, right now, it could come down and find a bit of support there. So that 50% to 62% on this Nasdaq, I reckon it's going to find a bit of support there. Do I reckon it's going to come back up and break today's high? I'm not sure of that. Do I reckon it's going to come down and break today's low? I'm not sure of that. But what I am saying is that with the market's had a pretty significant downward move through here on the Nasdaq, the S&P, Russell, the Dow, all those markets have had a pretty significant drop. Now they're just going sideways. So no, this market's really giving conflicting signals now. One signal saying this it's going to go low, the next signal saying it's going to go high. So I would just sort of stay neutral at the moment. I was bearish on a few other videos that I've done, and the market has come down since then. But I would say just be very careful with the market, and I'm not sure where the market's going at the moment, but it's basically sideways, as you can see. So that's the Nasdaq. Let's go have a look at the S&P. Okay, this is the S&P, and this big day down through here, I'm not sure why, but my software's playing up, but you can see that I've just drawn a line through there. That's where the S&P closed as of yesterday. Now if I just draw that across there and forget that line, this is the overall S&P market through here. Okay, the overall S&P market. If I just drew, say, some significant support resistance, that'll be my first area of support or resistance through there. Okay, through there, and my next area of support or resistance would be, say, up there. Now, once we've got a support, resistance, resistance, support and resistance through here, break down, break back up, and we can see now it found a bit of support through there. Okay, and now this is going back the day before. Now, what actually happened last night, you can see if I just move this chart out a bit, it actually closed down here below this significant area of support or resistance. Now, it actually closed below there. So that's a bearish sign for me. And one thing we also can see here that might have been lining up is a flag. Now, look at this. If the market runs, the market has from the bottom here through to the top just had a bit of run up. But now you can see the market's just gone sideways through here. Okay? Now, if you have a look at this, this is like a bearish flag. Look at this through here. And we also can see the market down through here as well. You can see the market's just gone sideways. Sorry, this is a bullish flag. Sorry, correction. And the market's come up. It's sort of gone sideways. And this bullish flag is telling you that the market's going to go up. But look what actually happened. It broke down past this significant support or resistance and out of the flag. But let's actually go look inside the actual. I'm going to bring up a minute chart now. And this is going to be an hourly chart, okay? So this is an hourly chart right now. We can see I had a pretty significant pretty significant rise through there, and now we can see the market's come down. But one thing I want to show you just quickly is look at this. As the market from the bottom through the high, look where it bounced. 62% bounced off, came to the high. If I go from the low through to the high up here, look where it bounced, right up to 62%. So right now we can see that this market's channeling sideways. It actually broke out down through here. As you can see, that's where it actually closed. So, you know, saying that, if it's likely to find a bit of resistance. If it breaks through this 62%, we're probably going to come down to the 1290 mark on the S&P. So this is the overall markets. I hope you enjoyed the video. The overall markets are literally just going sideways at the moment. Some markets saying going up, some markets going down. The S&P's market saying, listen, this thing's likely to go down. So, no one knows really what's going to happen, but all you can do is just stack the odds in your favour by doing technical analysis like this. Please look after yourself and one another. Trade in the stock market is risky and can cause substantial financial loss. We do not claim or guarantee your profit from the information provided. The information in these videos is meant for educational purposes only. That being said, I've been trading the market profitably for many years, so please do your own homework and make sure you look after your current financial situation.